Elite Notary. How is everybody doing tonight? Tonight we have some good tips that actually come from our community group on Facebook called Resilient Successful Lifestyles, because as notaries, we work at home businesses often and we have expenses to track, and that can get out of hand a little bit. As we're approaching tax season in the United States, this is a good time to pull back and think about subscriptions in particular. And that's why I call this Subscribe This. We had 3 closings today and we have 4 tomorrow. So things are picking up a little bit, and I hope they are for you too. And one of the things that's really critical about being an entrepreneur of any type is making sure that your ROI, return on investment, is in line. That means that you're making more money than you're spending. And one of the places this can get really slippery and tricky, especially in a business like ours, is subscriptions. What am I talking about? You might be familiar with things like Zoom, MileageIQ, Expensify, QuickBooks, Microsoft, Apple, Dropbox. Sound familiar? One of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the time people have different subscriptions that provide the same service. And so a review, at least annually, probably quarterly, of just those can be super helpful to your bottom line, because you can call out things that A, you no longer use, or B, are duplications. I think it's significant too to think of 2 things. The first thing is to audit it, make sure that you've got everything that you should have. You don't have things you don't need, right? These recurring charges that sometimes we just let slip by. But the second thing is to make sure that you are expensing those if they are required for your business and used for businesses purchases. So business purchases. MileageIQ is an app that I'll use to track my mileage when I'm doing a lot of remote notarization. It's on my iPhone. I don't have to think about tracking mileage. It's just there in a monthly report that I categorize between personal and business drives. That may not be something that you need, but if it is something that you use, you want to make sure it's in good working order. You're categorizing your drives every month, and I'm using that as a deduction when it comes to tax time. The bottom line is that this is one of the ways that we can help our business be successful. If it costs you $25 to do a closing that you're getting paid $20 to do, that's not a business, right? You're not even counting your time in that. So doing an ROI analysis, especially if you're working with signing services, they're going to offer you varying fees, is critical to being a success over time. That's what we want for you. The last thing I'll say is that this is the sort of thing that we talk about in our free community, Resilient and Successful Lifestyle. So I want to invite you to join that free group. It is a place where we know we're going to see positive, helpful tips and tricks, where you're going to get content that's going to lift you up and direct you to have amazing days and productive businesses. Because there's just so much negativity out there sometimes. We need tangible, actionable things that will actually help us move our businesses forward. So I want you to think and maybe shout out below, what are some of the expenses that maybe you didn't realize you needed to be counting and also expensing at tax time. I hope you have an amazing night. I hope your closings are light and easy, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.